So, how did you get your glassblower name?
Well, Takoda Madrona is my real legal name. It's on my birth certificate. My full name is Takoda Mel Madrona. So I chose my name just because most people commonly say your name's cool enough. So I just stuck with Takoda Madrona. And really, the real reason behind people having those nicknames were because making pipes and stuff were more illegal before I began making pipes. By the time I started making pipes, it was more legal, so there was no real need to have a nickname.
Yeah, Takoda Madrona is a pretty badass sounding name, to be honest.
Yeah,
when did
yeah, it worked.
when did you start blowing glass, and where did you start?
I started about 10 years ago almost. Depends on when you uh, like to choose when I began because when I was about 16 or so, I took some lessons. I'm 27 now, so that's almost 11 years ago now. So uh, now I took a couple lessons for about a month or two, and then when I was about 18, I just started on the torch a couple times a week, and then that progressed to more and more. And then eventually and now I've been a full-time glass blower for about 5, 6 years, 7 years, and I started right here in my hometown at just a local shop that was giving some lessons.
Okay. So
And
you're still blowing glass
now
in
I
the
work.
same spot?
No, I now have my own studio out in Shelburne, Vermont, not too far from where I live, and it's a nice little studio. It's a renovated a dairy farm that is 12 different art studios, and I have a nice bigger one that's an extension off of the dairy farm, and it used to be the milking barn, but it's been nicely renovated into an art studio, and I turned it into my glass shop. So it's got nice high ceilings and everything, and a nice big door that you can bring cows in and out of, and it's really, really beautiful out there. So it's really great.
Finding out where glassblowers have their studios is always like a cool thing for me personally because I always hear some crazy stuff. Like you're at an old like cow milking place, and I had someone who is working out of a school bus. I have people who are working out of old abandoned schools or warehouses. Everybody blowing glasses in some crazy spot.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. Finding the right place that one allows you to do it, and you can physically do it in the space is difficult.
I have a personal
Lands you in
question
some weird places.
um, for you. If you could add or see one color added to the Boro palette, what would it be?
Um, I want more purples. I mean, people are always asking for purples, and a lot of my purples are more. It's a lot of my purples are more on the I don't know how to put it, pastel or lighter side. I can definitely get different purples out of purple luster or serendipity, if you will, or something like that. You can definitely get some dark purples out of some colors, but it would be nice to have a more a larger array of purples in opaque and even transparent colors. And Yeah, off the top of my head, I would just say more purples would definitely make it easier for satisfying customers.
All right. Yeah,
And
I
also,
agree.
and also I want Illuminati back. Uh,
Yeah, who doesn't? Oh man. What is your favorite glass blowing technique?
um, yeah, favorite. I definitely took to making filicellos and reticellos, the contemporary versions, and I definitely took to those more and have enjoyed making them. And it's been a really fun challenge to me. Other things I haven't taken to, but I definitely think that other work is very appealing and aesthetically beautiful. So I would throw in chip stacks, and I think those are one of my favorite techniques. But it's something that I've honestly never really dove into. I've done it one time about 6 years ago. Just gave it a shot. So it's there are definitely things that I find really beautiful that I haven't really gotten my hands into like that. But one of my favorites that I definitely took to obviously would be line work, where you're just drawing with your hands, much like a pen or a marker or something like that, and violoncellos and reticellos, which is that technique but a specific pattern. And I found it challenging, and I found it fun, and I have 6 years on it, and very much enjoyed it.
Is there anywhere that you draw inspiration from for your style?
John W. is definitely worth a mention. He's one of the first people I saw post on Facebook a half-made filacello, and that, from my basic understanding of how to make a reticello and crossing lines, I could pick up how to make a filacello from that picture, and that really helped me right from the beginning, and he's been a big inspiration, his work, along with Adam Reitz and, of course, Yushin. There are a lot of names like that that are very talented in the specific things that I dabble in. And then there is Salt, who I would say I've known the longest. He was one of the first glass blowers that I learned of by name, and I've known of him the longest. And he was definitely a big inspiration towards the beginning, even though my work might not necessarily represent that.
Okay. Yeah, I love Salt and Marcel and all those guys. There's just some OGs in the game for sure.
Yeah.
And do you currently work with anybody?
No, I work on my own, which was beneficial during the pandemic. But I work by myself in my studio. I will occasionally collab.
Okay.
And when I travel, sometimes, I've got a couple friends all around the country. Sherbet Glass is worth a mention. I collab with him regularly. Over the past couple of years, we've done a couple. And Tony LaCourte, I'm going to give him a shout out. He's awesome. He's out in Ohio, along with Dern Glass. They're some good friends I've run into competing in champs glass games and stuff like that. I'll collab with them, but really just in my studio. I don't work with anybody.
What do you see happening with the future with the glass industry?
Hopefully, I would like to see kind of just exponential growth. I think that it's just been steadily growing. We see big spikes every so often, so you'll see a large amounts of growth all at once, and then it kind of teeters out. But we are always a steady growth that mirrors legalization and other things. So hopefully, and I would assume so, that we will see more steady growth and hopefully some more spikes in different times in different areas. I'd like to see more rural areas in Kansas and Kentucky, and I spent some time in Ohio. My grandmother's out there, and it's booming out there, but it's not as legal as I'd like it to be. So I'd like to see it be more legalized. Maybe you'll be looking at another Colorado out there, I would like to see, and potentially we will see, places that are less legal become more legal, and areas that are smaller be able to grow, and our community will go along with that.
Do you have any hobbies outside of glass?
Let this truck go by. Yeah, I do a lot of like really silly videos and stuff online, which I consider a hobby. It doesn't take that much time, but it's fun and it's fun. So that's definitely a hobby of mine. But aside from that, I like to paint in different ways. Like I recently actually took on some DIY car work where I had like a big hole of rust in my car, and I decided to learn how to patch that, and that taught me to learn how to actually paint the car, which is incredibly complicated, and I always thought that it was way over my head, but I actually learned how to do it, and I'm very proud of learning those skills and getting all the materials and the equipment. And I also paint my house, and I just recently painted the trim in my house, and I consider that type of stuff hobbies. I'm a clean person and
Yeah.
like to put things together and create some feng shui, not real feng shui, but make things look nice, and um, little things like that. But more physical activities, like it depends on the season because I live in Vermont. But sometimes I'll snowboard and sometimes I'll skateboard. Skateboarding in the summer, and I kayak. I have a kayak. So I'll get out on the lake because I live right on the lake, Lake Champlain in Vermont. So, I recently sprained my ACL, so I took this last season off from snowboarding. But yeah, for the most part, I just kind of get outside as much as I can. I'll hike too, and spend time with my friends and my girlfriend. And I love TV, always have. So yeah, a couple of little hobbies like that.
Yeah, it's good to have a life outside of glass. It can kind of take over. Um,
It
so
definitely does.
my last two questions, two-part question. Do you believe in aliens, and what would they do for a Klondike bar?
Um, it's people have asked me this question, not the Klondike bar part, but people ask the question, do you believe in aliens and stuff? And it's hard now because nowadays I feel like with all the documentaries and everything that comes out on TV, if you say you don't directly believe that there's aliens right above us, like controlling everything basically, then you're crazy, But I'm more skeptical than the average person on intelligent life forms and aliens. But I do completely understand there's a large universe, and I think there's a high potential for life on other planets. And as far as what type of life, that is a question, and where and what. But as a whole, the question implies that these are intelligent creatures that would be wanting something like a Klondike bar, rather than single-celled or multiple-celled organisms that would perhaps might eat a Klondike bar, but they wouldn't really quite understand that it is a Klondike bar. So I don't actually believe that they would do all that much to get a Klondike bar, because it wouldn't be all that much nutrition, and they would be more interested in gaining nutrition or fuel or whatever they traveled light years of distance to get instead of the Klondike bar. So I don't think they would do much to get a Klondike bar. They'd be interested in other things.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for your interview here, and yeah, thank you for doing it with us again. I wanted to get your address so we could send you a T-shirt if you don't mind. This is off
totally.
the recording.